Head over to miniaturemarket.com where they have thousands of board games at discounted prices, and you can sign up for product alerts. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here, and today again I am joined by my friend
Greg Dixon. Thanks for having me again.
Today we're already down to 40 to 31. We're getting down there.
Yeah, this is the cream of the crop.
Yeah, well they all kind of are, right?
This is the cream of the crop.
Yeah. I mean, you start at top 100, it's probably the top 1% of games you've ever played, right?
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, just before this came out a few days ago, I came out with my 40 to 31 where I actually explained a little bit more about how the games work. Where this is different, this is more of a conversational video where we'll talk about what we both think about the games in more detail and our experiences with playing them. And Greg's gonna debunk my list, and he's gonna mess up because he has an envelope where he's predicted my top 10. One of them has already been shot down. If you don't know which one, you have to go back and watch the rest of them and find out. But one of them was pretty high up on that list, and he screwed up.
I was shocked.
He says I screwed up.
You did.
So anyway, 40 to 31, here we go. All right, number 40. This is probably the best city building game ever made that recently came out with a huge collector's edition.
Oh, Suburbia.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
You love Suburbia.
I love Suburbia.
Yeah.
I love, and that new version's ridiculous. And even since then, they've come out with a second edition, which used the new artwork of this, but it didn't have like the recessed player boards.
This has been a cash cow for them for years.
I think this is Ted Alspach's best design still, which is saying a lot because it's an older game.
I would say 9-10 years old off the top of my head, something like that.
Probably around that.
Yeah.
He's designed a lot of games.
Yes, of course. And Bezier's put out a lot of titles, but this one continues to be expanded and released and all that sort of stuff.
I've said that to Ted before. He goes, I don't know how I feel about that. He's like, you think that you get better as a designer as time goes on, and to be still designing stuff and having something to design better to still be better. He's like, I don't know what to make of that.
It's like a band, a musical artist. Their first couple albums are usually the best, and they kind of lose a step as they get older.
Yeah.
They've been working on those albums their whole life. Maybe he was working on Suburbia,
Yeah, that's true.
his whole life, and then he finally got it out.
This is his magnum opus.
Yeah, maybe.
Although we have the whole Maglev Metro sitting right here, which is really
I haven't played that one yet.
That one's really cool.
I hear good things.
That's super unique.
Suburbia is always a solid game. Like, I'll enjoy playing it, but it was always a little dry and a little bland looking and a little...
Because you haven't played... Have you
No,
played
I haven't.
it?
I haven't played the new version.
I agree. The original version was ugly.
It just didn't grab me the first few times I played it,
Yeah.
and so I just never really went back to it that much. But it's come out here and there over the years, I think, where people have been like, oh, you want to play this? And I'm always like, yeah, sure. I'm happy to play it.
It sounds silly, but like the artwork in the new version is so much better.
It makes a difference.
That it really does. Like before, you felt like you were like building blue, yellow, and green tiles.
Yes.
Where now, like there's artwork in everything that's very detailed, and it like feels like you're building those things.
Yeah,
too.
I'd like to look at this one a little more closer.
Yeah.
and see what they've done.
The one thing I loved about this was the whole. It's an economic game.
Yeah.
You got to get money so that you can buy the buildings you want. But it's very thematic where you build stuff has to be, you don't want to live next to the power plant.
Right.
This and that. And then, but as you get better and better, it gets harder and harder because you cross over these lines on the score track, and each of your two tracks, that your money and your reputation, which is points, goes down. And I like it because it's like an engine building game, because at the end of every turn, you're getting money and you're getting points.
And you're building combos into the way you lay things out as well, right?
And combos built on what other people build.
Right.
I might get something because you've built an airport.
So it's not just multiplayer solitaire. You really are paying attention to everyone else's development as well.
That isn't often found in Euros, and especially not 10 years ago.
Yeah. And this one's pretty quick playing too, which I imagine is part of what you like about it, right?
It's not super quick.
45 minutes?
Two players, you're looking at an hour. More than that, you're looking at 90-ish.
Okay, it's longer than I remembered.
It's not a super quick game.
Yeah.
The app for this is awesome, actually. You can play a solo game of this in like 10 minutes because it does all the math for you and all the
Are you just
tracking.
playing against like NPCs, or are you playing against other people online, or what?
I've only played with the NPCs. I don't know if you can play with other people online. But
like asynchronous play?
Yeah, so if you're looking to be like, hey, I don't want to spend all this money on the collector's edition, I want to see if I might like it, you could try the app because the app's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
There you go, Suburbia Collector's Edition.
This doesn't shock me because I know you've loved this game forever.
It's a great engine builder, thematic tile laying game.
Yeah.
Has everything that I love.
Checks a lot of boxes for you.
Yeah, there you go. Number 39. This is a theme that we've already talked about with a very popular game, the 1960 Making of the President.
Oh.
This also has to do with the Electoral College, and this was my strategy game of the year when it came out.
Campaign Trails. Right?
Campaign Trail.
Now this has been reworked and is being released again very soon, right? I think you can pre-order this.
Yeah, originally came from Cosmac Wombat Games, and then Gray Fox Games picked it up because I was bothering somebody to pick this game up because it went out of print so fast.
Yeah. It was a very small, it was like a small company.
Yeah,
and
small company.
A passion project.
Him and his dad
like
and his brother.
Son.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember like many years, probably 6 years ago, I went to Gen Con and they were in one of those little tables in the middle of nowhere, like demoing it. And I went over there. I was like, I love games about elections.
Yeah.
And we talked about them, and then it's. The thing that's really unique about this is, like 1960, a lot of these types of games tend to be two-player. With this game, it plays up to 6.
It can be two-player.
It can be two-player, and it works well with two-player.
Have you played it at the higher player counts?
It's amazing.
Really?
Because you can either play it individually, or you can play it where you're on teams. Like a 4-player game in the regular game is like 2 on this team, 2 on that team. One's the president, one's the vice president. And you've got certain things that you've got strategies that you're working together, but you can kind of like, I forget if you share the cash or not in this one, but like you're playing as teams.
Okay.
And
but it sounds like you have distinct roles within the team, so it's not just 2 people talking about what should we do, because sometimes that bogs games down.
No, it is more like that,
but it works.
It works. And then the new version has the green.
Right, they've added another party, right?
They added a green party, and so I haven't played with that one yet, but has new goals, has some things like that. But if you like election-style games, or it's basically area control.
Yeah, it's area control, but with a theme where area control makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it thematically makes sense.
Yeah.
And your multi-use cards, every card has like 3 or 4 possible uses for them.
Yeah.
There's like 6 possible things you can do in the game, but each card only has like 3 of those options. But you still have multi-use cards. Do I use it for money? Do I use it to bring voters in? Do I use it to a special ability? Do I use it to campaign? Do I use it to travel? Like multi-use, I love multi-use cards in games.
This might not be the last game on your list about government and trying to get voters to support you, and might not be the last.
It might, because I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Unless you already said that one in one of the old videos and I don't remember it, but I don't think you have. But no, I like this one a lot, and I think it's like one of these games where it has that top 100 potential, I think, for me. But I've been waiting for the new one to come out because I want to play the new version. I want to see how they've tweaked it.
You want to play your favorite color.
I want to play the right... Oh, that's true. The green party is finally... Yes, there you go. It's one of these games, too, where even though it is a political theme, I don't think it's going to cause, like, fights or anything because it's really just an area control game.
Oh, and you can I'm in one of the promo cards for this game.
Oh, really?
It's called the Geek from the Media. I'm one of the little presidents you can be.
Okay.
I have a special ability.
You're like the tech-savvy candidate.
It's on the board over there.
Of course. He has a framed picture of all of his promos over the years.
It's kind of fun. But yeah, if you like electric-style games, or if you're not into politics at all, it's okay, because it's literally area control.
Yeah, I think the theme just enriches the gameplay, but it's not like... We've played other games, and we won't name names maybe, where like it feels like they're trying to start fights with the way it's designed or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't that way.
Like Shawson.
Well, we will name names, folks.
But two other cool things about this. Oh, so you asked, it was supposed to be out by now, but because of all the shipping delays.
I know it's a pre-order, though. Like, you can go order it now.
Yeah.
I don't know when you're going to get it.
It should have been out by now, but because of the shipping delays, it's not out yet.
But it's soon.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And then
they don't run a pre-order unless it's soon.
So 1960,
yeah,
when you score, it's just these little scoring chits, and you never know who's in the lead. In this game, it has all of the states as a scoreboard.
Right.
And as you take over a state, you put it, and you can automatically see at that moment
it's when you get the 270,
where you have the lead. And it's really cool, because you can look at the size of the states and go, ooh, if I take Texas, that's going to give me the lead. And that's like I've been trying to figure out a way to use those components in 1960, but because it's so far away, the Electoral College numbers are different. Yeah. So I've been
You really do feel like a campaign manager, like behind the scenes, strategizing with your candidate, trying to figure out where you can get the votes you need. And it's very thematic that way. Yeah. Maybe even borderline educational a little bit.
Well, when the new one comes out, I'll be getting it. We'll play it.
Oh, I'd love to play it again. I have good memories playing this one. This is a good game.
There you go, Campaign Trail. This next one is a deduction game.
Okay.
That for a
while... Social or otherwise?
Regular. Okay. For a while, I think it was my favorite deduction game of all time.
Ooh.
But it's a newer game. It's come out in the last few years.
It's not Search for Planet X.
No, it's
Cryptid.
Yes.
Cryptid. Those are both fairly new, but yeah, Cryptid's a little older.
Yeah. It's a deduction game.
You said for a while it was your favorite.
Yes.
So there's going to be another one.
There might be 2 more.
It slipped a little
Actually,
bit.
there might be 3 more.
Oh, wow. Well, it's like your favorite
I can
genre.
think of 3 off the top of my head that are still coming up.
Yeah, it's like your favorite genre.
Yeah, one of them.
So this one has slipped a little, you feel like?
I
or
think
what?
because the 2-player version of this isn't quite as good.
Yeah. Okay.
It slipped for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's very good though.
I mean, still in your 30s.
It's amazing. Like it's got that weird like I always say I know it's so different from Tobago.
Yes.
But it's like I haven't played Tobago since I've played Cryptid. Because it has that similar thing of like,
yeah.
hey,
I'm
near the largest forest.
Yeah.
I'm not near
Right.
the smallest mountain.
The difference is in Tobago, you are influencing that.
Yes.
There isn't an answer. You're deciding what the answer is based on how you play it. Whereas this one, there is an answer, a solution
Yes, there is a solution.
that you're trying to figure out.
And that's interesting too, that at the beginning everyone has a different piece of information.
Right.
But when somebody asks you a question, you get to decide like, so they'll ask you about a spot, and sometimes there's a lot of strategy as to like what questions you're asking people.
Because isn't it, and it's been a while since I played it, but can't you give away some of your own info depending on how you ask?
Yeah, so if you ask and it's wrong, you have to place a cube,
Yes.
which says that this is not part of your thing. There's a ton of strategy
Right.
by where you place your cube. You want to try to place it so that they don't learn any new information.
Yeah.
But what if you already told them?
So you're trying to gain info without giving away too much of your own.
Yes. So there's like a
It's a
completely
balancing act.
different way of thinking when it's your turn versus
Yeah.
other people's turn, even though you're solving the same problem.
Yeah.
That's why this is so unique.
Yeah, it's a good game.
It's also slipped a little bit because at first I thought it was very approachable for like non-gamers a little bit.
Yeah.
But that whole reverse way of thinking of like, I put a cube here because it's not here, tends to trip people up.
This whole genre, I think, is not as approachable for non-gamers.
Yeah. Although this is one
because
of the...
it is so thinky and it is so logic-based and it is so much like taking notes in a college class and keeping track of stuff. And most people don't want to work that hard.
You always have clue for the hook.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But this is one of the few games where if you do screw up,
yeah.
in most deduction games, if you screw up and give an answer, the game's over. Yeah. You've screwed everyone's game up. Yeah. In this, if you realize that you've screwed up, you actually can fix that, and you can actually fix the game. That's happened a couple times.
Really? Like, you could say,
like, oh my gosh, I put this cube in the wrong spot.
Okay.
I meant to put this here. Oh, okay. And it doesn't, you can still like recover and still play the rest of the game. Yeah. Which is kind of a cool thing. But it's, if you like social, like not social, but like regular deduction games, this is like awesome.
I think I also prefer, I don't know, I'm not a huge deduction fan, but I do like it when they have a spatial element, right?
Yeah, this is totally that.
I think that's kind of a fun part of it. Part of what I like about Tobago, even though, like we said, it's kind of opposite.
And I think Stephanie liked this a lot too, didn't she?
I think she did, yeah. No, this is a good one, especially if you're into deduction. I don't think this is going to win you over to deduction.
No.
But if you like deduction and you haven't played this one, it's definitely worth.
Yeah. Cryptid number 38. All right, before we start number 37, just want to show you here is that little campaign trail.
Pinch in, folks. Get a close-up.
Campaign trail of the Geek from the Media. That's a fun little card.
Look at that handsome fella.
Okay, we're going to go to number 37. This is a party game.
Okay.
You can literally play this with as many people as you want. Some people have made game shows out of this at conventions. I actually went to a house for children that were in like the not best situations. Yeah. And went and did it for 100 kids. We had 10 kids at each table, and I ran an event, and it was fun. So you should know what this is by now.
It's got to be Wits and Wagers.
Wits and Wagers. The version that's out now is It's Vegas, baby, which is it's a good version.
There's a lot of versions of this.
Yeah. Well, this is the only one you can get now without buying it older. Yeah. This game's awesome.
Yeah, this is a great game, and everyone knows the hook. If you don't, it's trivia, but you don't have to know the answer. You just have to think you know who might know the answer, or just be close. Yes. Closer than anybody else. Yep. So it's a trivia game that kind of lets you off the hook. Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
It's awesome. People like to bet.
Yes.
Like, oh, I'm going to bet on myself. You could bet on yourself or not. You'd be like, or you could be like, I know Greg knows a lot about movies. This is a movie question. I'm betting on Greg.
That's what makes this game more social, I think. Yeah. Because it does, you're thinking about the people and what they're into and what they know and don't know. Yeah. You know, oh, you're a sports guy. You tell me, how many home runs did, whoever hit?
Yeah.
And you can kind of just piggyback on other people. And we talked about that with America and some of these other games.
Yeah.
I like this trend in like trivia games.
Yeah, that you don't have to know the answer.
Yeah.
Just know something, either who or
Just
be close.
guess or be close or trust other players.
I've never not seen this one go over well, and I bring it to a lot of parties. I bring it to almost every party that I've been invited to, and I usually get it out.
It's one I don't think to play as often for whatever reason. I
It's
own
great.
it. I don't have this version, but I do own it. I like it. But I don't pull it out as much lately. But I could see it making
The
a
fact
renaissance.
that you can basically, if you have more than 7 people, you can just be like, okay, team up. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah.
You guys just come up with an answer.
Sure. You could play like couples.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have like the really huge deluxified
nice.
the mat,
Oh, cool.
where they took it out of this version because this version was for Target. The one where like before people even write down their answer, you can bet on them being the one closest and get for a 10-1 odds.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know if I knew about that version.
Yeah, that's when it really helps to know who knows what.
And then they purposely do bad just to screw you over.
Well, sometimes they bet on themselves. But yeah, this is, probably the best trivia game out there, period.
It's excellent. Yeah, it's just one I don't know why it doesn't get to the table more because I always have a good time with it. I agree with you. It always goes over well.
And then I got the party edition right there. I got the regular edition right there. I got like
I
3.
think there was like a family version at one point.
Yeah, I had that one too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could play with like little kids.
Yeah.
The questions aren't quite so hard.
Yeah. Actually, those are the questions I used for the kids. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that
It's
makes
about
sense.
like kangaroos and stuff.
Yeah, that's
How far
awesome.
can a kangaroo
How
jump?
fast can a cheetah run?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
There you go. Wits and Wagers 37. Number 36. This is a very popular social deduction game. Comes in a small box.
Really small box?
Not that small. It's not Insider. Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking Insider.
No.
It's the smallest box I could think of for a social deduction
No, this is
game.
one that's had lots of expansions. They've had lots of spin-offs.
Oh, yeah. This size box?
Yeah, close to that.
Roughly?
Yeah, I think.
One Night Ultimate Werewolf?
It is.
Okay. This is not a top 10 game for you?
Oh gosh, is it in
This
your
is not.
thing? Oh my god, I had a feeling you know what? Because I think last time I did my top 100, this was in the top 10. I think.
I would have guessed.
And
I did guess.
Is it?
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh.
Drum roll, please.
Whoa.
Really? This is not a top 10 game for you
And
anymore.
I think the only reason why it dropped so far, and again, it's still 36. It's like ridiculous.
Sure.
I think because we've played it over 100 times.
Yeah, we have.
We've played it a lot, even with
Yeah.
the different roles, and we've even played the One Night Ultimate Alien and mixed that in.
Yep.
And like we've just played this so much that it's just fallen a little bit.
I think it's true for me too. I
Yeah.
think at one point I thought it was my all-time favorite social deduction game,
Yeah.
and I think it has fallen a little bit. And it's weird how, you don't think. I guess it's a good test for a game, right? If you play it a ton, do you like it more, or does it slowly start to drop off?
Usually it will start to get better, and then it will drop off.
At some point, there's still burnout on almost
There's
every
a couple
game.
games on this list that have still
I think Lost
never.
Cities was like that for you.
Yeah, but there's some on this list that are still, even after
They're still climbing after
huge
lots
amounts
of
of plays,
plays.
it's still climbing.
But it's hard for a game to
It's
stay in that
almost
same
impossible.
rarefied air
It
after
is.
100 plus plays.
I think the other reason why this has fallen is there's. I don't want to spoil it. This one's a little harder to bring out to groups that aren't gamers.
Yeah,
Because it's a little.
it's a little weird.
For someone that's never done something like this, it's a
Easier
little
to
tough.
teach them like Time Bomb or something,
Yeah.
and to get them started
Or
with like
something
an
else
easier.
that's going to come up later.
But let's talk about why it's
From
good.
the same company.
Let's talk about why. Let's talk about why it's good though, because we keep going. Well, why is it falling or
Yeah,
whatever? The thing about this one, I think, is that you can sometimes really nail down the information.
Yeah. Even though you never quite have
You're
perfect
never
vision.
100% sure, but more so than a lot of social deduction games, if you sit and kind of math it out and know who to trust, and maybe you had some ability that you're leaning on to give you some kind of extra edge, you can sometimes get this down to where you're like so close to certain information.
Yeah.
And then you just have to convince the group. But the hard part is that the time is so short.
Yeah.
That sometimes you just don't have the time to really, as everyone's gabbing, spin your wheels and do all the carry the ones to like figure it all out in
Yeah.
time, and then also convince the group in that same amount of time. So there's a great amount of like tension and pressure as you're trying to like connect the dots, and the time is running out, you know?
And by the way, if you don't like the werewolf theme, there's one at Ultimate Supervillains, which is the same exact game pretty much with a lighter family theme.
There's vampires, super villains, aliens. There's so many versions of this game. Yeah. And then there's one weak Ultimate Werewolf, which has more of like a spatial element to it.
It's more of like a board game.
Yeah.
The thing I love about this is like you learn little strategies and you uncover little strategies for each role and how to play them.
Yeah.
And then when you see someone win because of that, and then next time you get that roll, you're like, oh, no, that's a little thing in my quiver I can do.
Yeah.
That's a little trick I can play. And then if you end up playing this game with the people that played it a lot, the meta game, the outthinking, the you would do that because you're this, so they're probably not doing that, they're doing this.
Yeah.
Is just
That's what you said when you were the Tanner one time. Yeah, but I'm not the Tanner this time, you know, or whatever.
It's amazing.
It is really good. It is really good. And I think that's why we played it out a little bit. Because we would play it like 5, 6, 7 times in a row, get together the next week, play it another 5, 6, 7 times in a row, and just play it and play it and play it and play it. Also, works at fairly low player counts.
Yeah.
Like you can play it at 4.
It still works at 4.
Yeah, better at 5 or 6 maybe, but nice that it works at 4, because a lot of social deduction games kind of start at 5.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one. One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
I thought this was a top 10 for you.
Wow. Second one gone.
And I thought all of these would be at least in your top 20.
I know.
So I'm out 2 already. Loser.
Hey, 80%'s not bad.
Yeah,
we haven't gotten there
yet. We'll
yet.
see if I can get that good.
All right, there you go. Ultimate Werewolf. One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Number 35. We're getting close to the end of the party games on here, I think.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Don't have any party games on your top 10 or 20?
I don't know. I can't remember. I'm going to have to think. But this one's pretty high.
Yeah.
Another party game. It's about getting your team to guess who you are as a person, and there's 3 different rounds. Round 1, you can pretty much say anything, but you can't pass. You can make noises. Second round, you can say 1 word. Third round, no words.
Time's Up, it's called, right?
Time's Up.
Yeah.
Another one that you can play with as big as a group as you have. I've played this with 40 people before.
Yeah. And you end up developing these hilarious shorthands. Like almost to the point where you just point at a person because they're the one that kept getting it on earlier rounds or something like that.
Yeah.
And so you're going, because it gets harder as you go. Reminds me of like Stay Cool, right? Each round is harder than the round before.
But it's the same answers.
But it's the same answers.
Which is so clever.
It is really clever because everyone, it's at some point they can kind of pull from like a multiple choice.
Right.
So even if they're not sure, and then sometimes what happens is it's like you have 2 different songs. And so you go like, at the end you're just doing like charades. And they're like, oh crap, which song is it?
Yeah.
Is it All on the Watchtower? Or is it, Smells Like Teen Spirit? Or, whatever. And so that's hilarious too.
Yeah. And the fact at the beginning of the game, each person gets a small handful of cards. So they already know some of the answers.
Yes.
So when someone's acting something out for the first time and nobody knows what cards on the game, it's amazing. Someone will guess it and someone will go, how in the world did you know that? Because it was one of the 3 cards and it just made sense.
And so that pulls everyone else
in
on an individual level.
Right away.
Because a lot of times when you have big group party games, it's easy for certain people to kind of be the wallflower and stand back and let the group kind of do it. But since you've seen a few, you can't help but jump in when they're doing something that triggers that memory of, hey, that was one of my cards.
And then when you're at the end of the round, you read all of the answers one more time so it's fresh in everyone's heads.
Yes.
And then you can do almost anything remotely close to what that thing is. It's like you said, it's the crazy shorthand. You might just have this little, and then they know what it is, and it's like crazy.
Or maybe Dan always guessed this one right on every other round, so I just point at him, and they go, what does Dan always say? Oh, Dan's the one who knows that song, or whatever. Yeah, it's great. It's 3 rounds, right?
3 rounds.
Yeah. And the first round is you can just say any word.
You can make noises, you can say as much, but you can't pass.
The second round,
you can pass, but you only can say 1 word.
1 word, that's right.
And that, but
can
you
do charades and stuff too?
Yeah, you do.
But you can only say 1 word. And then the
last
third round is just charades.
Silence.
Yeah. Great game.
It's so fun.
But like Wits and Wagers, for some reason, even though I love this game, I know I love this game, I used to play it all the time, it doesn't get out that often anymore. I guess, you get groups together, you're trying the new thing.
Yes, that's probably why.
Or whatever, but Time's Up always is a big hit.
This one usually makes you cry laughing.
Yeah, with this, I like to go to the Dice Tower Retreats. It's kind of like a small convention.
Yeah.
And this one always gets played. And this is like the late night go-to game for a lot of people.
So good. I don't have this new version. That new box.
I don't have it either. I have an older version.
I have I have that one down, the big square one. There you
Good
go.
choice.
Time's up. 35. Okay, I misspoke earlier. There's more than 3 deduction games coming up still.
Oh my gosh. I know what one of them is.
This one is one that was originally printed in Germany that looked like a pile of dog poo. It was worse than most Kickstarter prototypes that I get.
Oh, wow.
The production was so bad on this. It was the worst. It looks like not even good enough for a dollar store.
Worse than Carpe Diem?
Oh, but way worse. However,
Like made in MS Paint?
it has a feeling of like kind of Code 777 where you have numbers that you can't see and you're trying to guess what those numbers are.
13 Clues?
No, but that's a good one too.
But that one wasn't that bad. I don't remember the production being particularly
This
bad on
one
that
just came back on Kickstarter, but it didn't fund it. It's going to go back on again. But this was, I don't know if you'll get this one.
I don't know.
Because it's kind of obscure.
It's not ringing any bells.
Think Straight.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
it's being brought back out by called The Lost Code.
Right. Yeah, this one, look at you can tell from the cover of
The
Think Straight.
the board for this is like paper thin. Like
Yeah.
it's literally a piece of
Yeah,
paper.
you unfold it.
It's so bad.
I don't remember what
the game is so good.
I don't remember what like the gimmick is with this one.
This one
Like, what's
is
the twist on this
so
one?
you have numbers that you're trying to figure out, but you can't see them.
Yeah.
And depending on the turn order, these dice are being rolled, and that person gets to decide like what colors are the questions for this round. So you might be like, you have all these colors, like all the different colors, right? That are in that word think.
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure out what colors, what number, and this and that. And you're drafting like this little thing that says what's the number range you're asking somebody about. And you go,
okay.
oh, this round it's blue, blue, purple. Then I need to add, it's my blue plus my purple is the answer. And I'm going to come up with a certain range of numbers that I think this is in. If I'm right, I get points. The smaller the range, the more points I get. But if I'm wrong, I have to get rid of that card, and now I get new information, but everybody else gets to now see that new information.
So you're scoring points as you go?
Yes.
And then do you score points if you solve it?
Yeah, and at the end...
But can you win without being the final solution or no?
So the end is very interesting because you can guess 1, 2, or 3 numbers that each card is. And if you guess only one number, you get the most points. 2 numbers, you get a little less. So it's another...
High risk, high reward.
A little more pressure luck.
How does this deal with, because it's been forever since I played it, how does it deal with people messing up or giving bad info?
If you get screwed up, it's horrible. However, there are typically more... Another great thing about this, works perfectly with 2.
Oh.
Amazing. One of the few deduction games that plays perfectly with 2.
That is a plus.
Yes.
So talk to me about Lost Code and how, because you've seen Lost
I
Code.
put the Lost Code up there.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It actually brought this into an amazing production, cool theme. It's just a gazillion times better. But they did not change any of the mechanisms or any of the math or any of anything. It's like perfect.
Okay, so it's just prettier basically.
It's a lot prettier.
Presentable.
It's
Instead of that other box is rough, dude.
No, but if you like pure deduction, it has pressure luck, it has drafting, but it's so good. Oh man, it's so good. It like makes your brain, if you like logic and deduction.
So this is above cryptid for you.
So this is the cool thing about this. Yes, because if you know you've had this number like earlier in the game, and when you guess something wrong, you have to get rid of a card. You get rid of a card, you get to see what that is. Then you can look backwards to earlier in the game and go, oh, 2 rounds ago it was blue, blue, purple. I said it was this range, and no, it was higher. This is a 6. That means I can go backwards, calculate, and now I know what purple is. It's like got this really cool thing where like you learn stuff, you work your way backwards, and you can now fit that into the formula and figure stuff out. It's really clever.
I gotta try this again.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, obviously, if you put it at 34.
Much like Cryptid, if you don't like
But
straight
you're never
deduction
playing Think Straight again. You're gonna always play a Lost Code.
Well, I probably have the only version of Lost Code that exists because the Kickstarter got taken down.
That's crazy. It didn't fund?
No, there's a lot of like shipping costs was expensive from Europe.
It's a hard time right now to be putting anything out.
They're going to relaunch it because some of the components in this game were like super deluxe.
Okay.
Like there were stones and stuff.
They're
going to try to make it a little less expensive.
Maybe it's a little more than what people wanted to spend.
Yeah, it was a little expensive for what it was, but hopefully it comes back. If Lost Code comes back, get it.
Back it. If you like deduction.
If you like deduction. Yeah.
Number 34.
Number 34, Think Straight, or coming soon, The Lost Code. This is a social...
Another social deduction game? Does it come in a small box?
Number 33 is a... Don't all social deduction games come in small boxes? Most of them. This is a social deduction game that now that I looked at this, I think this one might be in your envelope.
Oh, really? Well, hold on. Let me see if I have any social deduction left. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
This is a very...
I thought One Night Ultimate Werewolf was like your top social deduction game.
This is a social deduction game that is a very obscure European title that is about hijacking airplanes.
Absolutely, Mayday, Mayday. Fantastic, underrated, impossible to find, sadly, game.
But I bought like 4 extra copies, so they're sitting over there just in case.
So if you see Dan at a convention or a gaming event, see if you can buy one off of him. You're gonna have like a trench coat. Hey, you want some Mayday, Mayday?
This was the game was this the game we were playing when I pushed Suzanne off her chair?
Yes, sadly it was. You thought she was good, and she had fooled you the whole time.
I think, this game's...
Do you think this... Okay, I love Mayday Mayday because it's a little bit longer than your average social deduction game, so you get a little bit more invested. You have to be really slick and very selective about when you lie if you're bad.
Because all your lies eventually can be seen.
Yeah, everything is out on the board.
Yes.
So it's not like some games where you can say something and someone says, hey, didn't you say this 2 rounds ago? And you go, I never said that. I don't know what you're talking about. Here, it's all laid out, so you have to be really slick and subtle, which I love about it, because it really ratchets up the tension.
But it also makes it very hard for the bad guys to win.
Yes, it's very hard for the bad guys to win.
If you haven't played before, especially.
But the good guys also have to have perfect knowledge. It can't just kind of luck into a win.
Right.
You have to play it perfectly to win.
Yeah, because if the good guys pick just one bad guy to get in the cockpit, the game's over. Like, you have to have...
You're deciding who to trust. Someone in the plane is a hijacker, and you're trying to decide who to trust. But my question is, do you think this design is as strong as like One Night Ultimate Werewolf or some of these other social deduction games?
I think if you play it with experienced players that know how the game works and knows how hard it is to win and how bad guys can win, I think it can be,
Because I like this game a ton. I've taught it to a bunch of people. I really enjoy it. But there is a part of me that sort of feels like because you have to be so cautious and careful, it plays itself a little bit. There's only a few times you really get to make big choices. Although I do like that a lot of the game ends up being how you spin things.
Yes.
And how convincing you are.
You still
and that
never
kind of stuff.
really have perfect information.
No, you never do. But there are times where you absolutely know one of these two people is bad.
Yeah, but you typically know that in the Resistance too, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not usually narrowed down to 2. Yeah. It's like 5 people went on this party and got sabotaged.
If someone fails the first mission, you've got it narrowed down to 2.
Yeah, but you don't fail the first mission.
Sure you do, because people don't think you're going to.
Double bluff, baby. Mayday Mayday is great. I wish it would be reprinted.
It would be higher if it wasn't so hard for the bad guys to win.
It's also...
Which, by the way, Mandy Hutchinson, this is the first game I ever played with her.
Oh, really?
At Gen Con. Were you there?
2016, I think, is the Gen Con I went to.
This is the first game I ever played with her, and her and I were the 2 bad guys, and she did the most amazing play at the end, and we won. And I was
I did play that.
I was like, Mandy, I just met you, but I love you.
Was James Hudson in that game too? I remember a round table.
So. Yeah.
I think I did play that with you.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Mayday, Mayday. Well, I hope somehow it gets released. It's more widely available because I think it's very slick. Yeah. It also goes to 10 with the expansion, which is nice.
Yeah.
Not all social deduction games go quite that high. Think of like Time Bomb and stuff that cap out at 8 or whatever. So yeah, this is a good one.
Mayday, Mayday. Number 32 is a pick up and deliver game, which is odd because I don't typically like that genre too much. It's an older game that came out, I don't know, maybe... I want to say 7 or 8 years ago. It's from Rio Grande Games. Very colorful game, but because it didn't do as well, this is probably going to be a shot in the dark for you.
Yeah, I could think of a few, but I don't think they're ones you've either played or you're a huge fan of.
It also has some Ticket to Ride style goals, which is one reason why I really love this game.
It's not ringing any bells. Oh my gosh, this takes me way back.
I forget how to say this. Like Cinque Terre?
This is one of the very first games we, I think, played together.
Really?
I would say it's in the first 10 or 12. I think this was something very early on that we played, that we played. And we just played that one time.
I talked to Chris Handy, the designer. I said, is there any hope of this getting reprinted again? He goes, I really want to reprint this. It's like, I just don't know if it's going to make sense. Like, just
Yeah.
Business-wise.
Yeah,
right?
like will it sell? Will it
Because
grab enough?
it's about a Ticket to Ride size box.
Yeah.
The reason why this game is so good is
Yeah,
it's like,
remind me about it because I haven't played it.
so you're going around in this
ages.
big circle. You're going through like the farms, and
Yeah.
then you're going to the coastal regions, and you're selling things.
Right, yeah.
But like, it has an aspect of like, it's got a lot of aspects of Ticket to Ride.
Yeah.
Where like, there's beautiful cards out there of fruits that you're taking.
Yeah.
Right? You're using those to collect sets to do certain things with. But you're also going around and taking, like buying goods. But each game, those goods are worth a different amount depending on how the dice are rolled at the beginning of the game.
Okay.
So you might grab a cucumber because you know you can sell it for 6 because the 6 die was rolled. Next game you play, and the cucumber's a 1.
Yeah.
So sometimes you might just want to grab a bunch of stuff and sell them because they're good die rolls. Other times you'll be selling them because if you sell a certain types of fruit and you've sold certain types, you can get these objective cards. Some of them are private, some of them are open, right? So think of it like this. You know in Ticket to Ride,
Yeah.
you get a route built from the beginning of the game.
Sure.
And then you get some other cards, you're like, oh, good, I can piggyback off this route and
Right.
go over here. This has a similar element where it's like some of the cards are like, hey, you have to have sold an orange and a grape and an olive. Or 2 orange, you've had to sell 2 of these and 1 of these and 1 of these. And you're looking at what you've already sold because it
Right.
stays on your board and you're going, oh, I've already got this and this. All I can
Okay.
do is go get this. It has that aspect of like Ticket to Ride to it.
Okay.
It has the card aspect, but it's like pick up and deliver.
Interesting.
And the economy of everything's different every game because of the dice really makes every game feel different. Because sometimes you want to sell stuff just because it's worth money.
Yeah.
And other times you're like, I don't want to pick these up, but I kind of need to because it goes with my goal. So you're always having like push and pull of strategies. It's phenomenal.
Huh. Yeah, I think we did play this very early on. I mean, this is like a 2012 or 2013
Probably.
release, right?
Yeah, probably.
And I remember it being good, but that's about it. I do remember that coastline.
Yeah.
And the coastline, the order is different every time or something as well, right?
Yeah. There's lots of variability in the setup.
Huh. I would like to play this again. This would be fun
one's
to try.
awesome.
This is really high.
I love this.
Have you played this recently? It's probably been a while,
Probably
right?
about a year.
Oh, really? That recent?
Yeah.
This is not one I haven't even thought about this in forever.
It's so good. I wish someone would reprint it. Again, because like if you like Ticket to Ride,
Yeah.
it has some of the hooks that Ticket to Ride has, but it still feels like a completely different game.
Do you think this would appeal to like a gateway crowd?
Absolutely. This is
people who are
total.
just
This is total gateway.
yeah.
But it's
still
good enough
engaging
to just
for-
like Ticket to Ride. I think it's engaging enough.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never would have guessed this
Well, I know that's why I just brought it up.
in a million years.
5 Villages. There you go. Number 31 is an abstract strategy game.
We've made it to the end of this list.
Yes, last one on this list. An abstract strategy game.
Okay.
It's about building buildings, jumping on top of buildings.
Jumping on top of buildings?
Yes,
Like your character?
maybe. Yes.
Is this is it? Wait a minute. I'm not sure. There's a few things I'm torn between.
There's special powers that everyone gets each game, and they're
it-
different. And there's a new version of this that's out that's slightly different, but uses a similar core.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I'm-
it's about a place in Greece.
Oh, it's Santorini. Okay. I was first thinking like Manhattan or King of Tokyo, and like, okay, of course.
Does that make
Santorini.
sense?
Yes, it does.
And I put
make
them
sense.
both there because I couldn't really pick one.
Someone
and
just
I
asked
liked
me this the other day.
I like them both equally well.
Because I have both
For
on my
different
shelf too,
reasons.
and someone said, "Which one do you like better?" And I'm like,
Here's the quick
know.
answer. If you want the 2-player chess-like game that you're thinking 3
Yes,
turns ahead, you get
that's
Santorini.
Santorini, yeah.
If you want to play with more than 2 players and you don't mind a little more variability with the game and a little bit more unsurety as to what's going to happen, it's
Yeah.
more tactical,
Yeah.
then New York, because that's more of a card game.
And that's what I think I said. I think I said Santorini's more strategic and New York's more tactical. And they're like, but which one do you like better? And I'm like, I don't know. I think it depends on the mood.
But New York is still very good with 2 players.
Sant-
The original's not very good with 3 or 4.
The original, Santorini is like a 2-player only, in my opinion.
Even though you can play with 3 or 4. It's
Yeah.
really a 2-player game.
There's too much potential for like intentional or unintentional
King
king making and
yeah.
stuff. I feel like to me Santorini is a 2-player
2-player
only game.
But New York plays still well with 2 players.
The New York I like. I think I've only played it at 2, but I'd like to play it with more and see how it feels.
Well, I played with the higher playgrounds. It still works really
It
well.
still works really well. Is that enough to maybe say it's a little bit better?
I don't know because I really love that 2-player version.
Okay, you can only
so
keep
much.
one, Dan. a very
don't
small
know.
fire in the game room. It burns up one game. Which one does it burn?
I would
up?
likely put both contents in one box.
That's a cheat. You can't say
I've done that for a couple of things. King of Tokyo and King of New York are in the same box in this game room. King Domino and Queen
doesn't answer
Domino
the
are in the same box, so I can save space.
I'm trying to put you on the spot and make you make a choice, because it's hard for me too. I can't decide.
I don't know.
I need to play both of them more, I feel like. Do you think there's more replayability in Santorini because there's just so many of those different mythological gods?
No, because there's just as many different roles you can mix in with the New York.
And then they all mix and match in different ways.
They're so
as well.
different, but they're so similar too. That's why I just put them up together.
Yeah.
Because I like them about the same. And I couldn't pick just one.
I've been torn between these two too.
They share so much of the same DNA that
This is really high, 31.
I love this game. Don't you?
I do love this game. I do. I don't get it played as much because my wife doesn't like it as much.
Yeah.
So I think it's slipped. You don't play it as much. You kind of forget how much you like about it. But anytime either of them comes out, I'm really having a good time. These are good choices.
Fantastic. If you like abstract strategy.
Great production too.
Oh yeah.
The way everything stacks and everything.
Even the newer, cheaper versions are still really good.
Oh, that's true. I think
They
I
don't have
an
the
older
island
version.
and stuff, but it's still good.
It's still really nice.
Santorini, number 31. All right, well, there you have it. 40 to 31. We're getting there.
Lots of party games.
Two.
Yeah, a fair amount of big group games. One Ultimate Werewolf, Mayday, Mayday, Time's Up. Yeah.
And few deduction.
Few deduction games.
Ended it with abstract strategy.
And now we're in the top 30. Tune in next week, folks.
Crazy. Yes, next week, where we go 30 to 21. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
There we go. We'll see you next week. This has been the Game Boy Geek.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Greg Dixon.
See you next time. Game Toppers not only transforms your existing table to a high-quality gaming solution, they now offer full leg kits and dining cover solutions for the full table application. Paired with their amazing thematic premium stitch edge mats from noted board game artists like Vincent Dutray, collapsible cup holders, and really cool accessories, it's a complete system that upgrades every game you play. Go to GameToppersLLC.com or click the link below.